Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another World News Update, October 28, 2023, episode 77. Some of the main stories I'll cover: the Balfour Declaration, Assad, Iran proxy hits Egypt, Gaza, 8,000 dead and hostages, Starlink, and Assad, president of Syria, say your prayers. Some of my sources for this are God in the Bible, Patriot subscribers, Israeli News Live, Hal Turner, War News 24/7, BritannicaHistory.com. So let's get started. First, I want to cover what is the Balfour Declaration. I had several Patriot subscribers of mine talking about the Balfour Declaration expiring, and so I'll go over what is it. Okay, it's the Balfour Declaration, and it was put forth by the British government by a Mr. Balfour in 1917. That's when the Rothschilds began to acquire land in what was currently Palestine. And there were some other divisions of land going on between different participants in World War I. The Balfour Declaration by the British government in 1917 concerned this area, Palestine. It also required the safeguarding the political and religious rights of the Arabs in this area. It was to establish a small land area for Jews. So in a few years later, this was turned over by the British government to the Rothschild family. Had the same requirements: safeguard the political and religious rights of the existing Palestinian people. The land was to be called Palestine. There was to be a small area for the Jews, but the Rothschilds, as I brought out earlier in a previous video with information from Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live, from a book written by a rabbi, the Rothschilds by World War II wanted enough Jewish blood shed in World War II, and that was Germany, the Holocaust, so they could go to the UN and demand this land, even though the Rothschilds already controlled the land. They had secured the land. They lived in Britain, but they had secured the land from the British government. So then, in 1948, an area called Israel was established, and the Jewish people, many who were still traumatized from their traumatic experiences as Holocaust survivors, and I submit it's based on a eyewitness account also given to Ben-Nun, that the Jews went in to Palestine in 1948 and slaughtered almost 1 million of the Palestinian people to remove them from the land. Now, this eyewitness said, he was still traumatized from being a Holocaust survivor, plus he felt as if he were in a trance. Now, there are devices that can put forth a frequency to put people in a trance. It's mind control, and then an order is given, and I submit the shadow Rothschilds, the shadow Jewish individuals who are this group. Jesus said, you call yourself Jews, but you're not. They weren't of Hebrew bloodline. But they went in then in 1948, slaughtered close to 1 million Palestinians, moved in the land, and then have subjugated virtually as slaves the Palestinian people since then. Now, Rothschild family owns the land. According to this letter, the Balfour Declaration, and they leased the land to the Corporation of Israel. Not the government. They leased it. It expires on Halloween, October 31, 2023. So that's what's going on. Also, as a part of the slaughter we're seeing going on. So the Balfour Declaration. And what does this mean in terms of the land? And when in 1948, when a leasing of the land by the Corporation Israel was made, they went before the UN, but they did not set down boundary lines, just like in Ukraine. So now we have this going on. So today is the 28th, and we know on the 27th, the ground invasion began of Gaza. I established in a previous video, we have 5,000 Marines and Army Delta forces with boots on the ground in Gaza going on. And during this few days before the ground invasion, the U.S. brought over THAAD air defense systems that protect against ICBMs. And I've been curious about their placing of these air defense systems also. They put them in Saudi Arabia. They put them in Qatar. They put them in Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, and UAE, and Israel. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah. So what's going on with the Iran proxy? Iran has two proxies. They have Lebanon and they have the Houthis in Yemen. So we have Yemen, Oman, Kuwait, Qatar. We've got Israel. We've got Gaza, Jordan, Iraq, Iran, Lebanon, Syria. So what's going on? Okay. So we had heard a few days ago, we had the USS Carney, plus another U.S. ship, and Yemen, who is a proxy for Iran, as Hezbollah is also a proxy for Iran, had been firing missiles and drones at Israel, and now we know they hit inside Israel on October 27 at Eilat, Israel. That happened. but they also hit inside Egypt in 2 locations. So that's going on. 200. So they hit in Egypt 200 kilometers or 124 miles from Gaza. And we had 2 U.S. destroyers in this area. But what the Houthis in Yemen, proxy for Iran, had been doing was constantly putting out missiles and drones. So they just overwhelmed the systems of the U.S. destroyers with so many drones and missiles, and have hit both Israel and Egypt. And now we have the Iraq hitting U.S. bases yesterday and today. We have Syria hitting U.S. bases yesterday and today. And that's the Syrian military that's doing that. And in Iraq, it's called Iraq resistance. Now, we'll talk about, we know that there have been, Israel sent in 200 planes, 100 drop bombs yesterday. And this morning when I reported, the battle was still going on from yesterday, 11 hours, hand-to-hand combat. Plus we have 5,000 U.S. troops, boots on the ground here. Now, the number of dead in Palestine of civilians, women, and children is 4,000 each, so about 8,000. Also, with the airstrikes, that came from Stephen Ben-Nun, Israeli News Live, and some of these numbers also came from Hal Turner. Also, Israel, with their missiles, they've been hitting. Also, the Hamas locations have killed, in one location, 50 of the Israeli U.S. plus hostages. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah. So then, we have had a blackout on all media platforms since yesterday in Gaza. Today, Elon Musk with Starlink was trying to set up connections for the UN and the Red Crescent, which is like the Red Cross. Bibi Netanyahu canceled all contracts the Israeli government has with Starlink and said no connections. They really want to hide what they're doing, don't they? And then we can link that to that information I put out about the Balfour Declaration. I submit something's going on with the ownership of this land. It appears the Rothschild family owns it, not the Corporation of Israel as of October 31, 2023. It appears that Israel, the shadow part of the Israel government and military, wants to slaughter all of the Palestinian bloodline. I submit it has something to do with the lease on the land. And now we come to this. Hal Turner's covert intel this afternoon. Israel recalled today, October 28 at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Israel recalled its diplomats from Turkey. The Israeli Minister of Security said Erdogan is Israel's greatest enemy. And then at 6:20, Hal Turner was able to confirm credible information about the president of Syria, Assad, that the U.S. and Israel shadow governments and shadow militaries had agreed to neutralize President Assad if Hezbollah goes into Israel. So that concludes this flash update. We need to be in prayer for Israel, for America, for Palestine, for all peoples around the earth who simply want to raise their children with peace and prosperity. I love you, and I'll see you soon.